Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Squad. This is the Park Squad Pod, a podcast where four friends catch up and chat about all things Disney, day-to-day life, and more. My name is Tommy, and I'll be your host for today's episode. I'm here with the rest of the squad.
I'm Haley.
I'm Brandon.
And I'm Heidi.
Welcome to episode 7, the Pixar movie draft. Sort of in honor of our first movie club review, which will be hitting the sort of the streams, the channels in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from when this is being posted, the 25th of March. We're going to get into the movie world a little bit. We've touched on it a bit, but it's been mostly parks, but now we're getting into the movieverse. If you are interested in joining us for that first movie review on the 25th, we will be reviewing Lilo and Stitch. So, take your 2 weeks to rewatch or fresh up or rewatch a bunch of times. I know I like Lilo and Stitch a lot, so I'll maybe get 2 rewatches in, while I have sort of an excuse. But yeah, really excited for that. And, hope everyone that's here joins us for that as well. And we can all sort of hopefully share our love for Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, if not, you can share that too.
Yeah, as long as you're subscribed, you can talk badly about Lilo and Stitch, but you have to be subscribed or else I'll ignore it. I won't look at it. It doesn't count. All right, so we'll get right into it. As we did on the last draft, we'll be randomizing the order. I don't know if you can
for
see
our
it.
watchers.
I have all the names right here for the viewers. Yeah, the YouTube viewers at home. I'll be clicking randomize to set our order.
Make sure it's done right.
Yep. So our draft order will be number 1, Haley. Number 2, Brandon.
Ooh.
Number 3, Heidi. And number 4 will be myself.
That's such a good spot.
Yeah, for anyone who wasn't with us on our last draft, this will be a snake draft. So basically what will happen is it'll go 1 through 4 and then 4 through 1. So although I have the last pick of the first round, I'll get the first pick of the second round, and it'll kind of go back and forth until we've completed our 5 rounds for a total of 20.
20 total.
20 total Pixar movies.
Awesome.
I'm jealous of your spot. Even though I got number 1, I think I wanted
spot
for this one number 4.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure with the number 1 spot, and I would have been pigeonholed a little bit and had to go a certain direction. So I think the number 4 spot gives me a little bit of flexibility. And there's such a good chunk, like that kind of 5 through 10 range is pretty strong. So
yeah, when I was making my draft list, I had no problem with like the top 9 and then like 10 through 20 for like this purpose, because we were only going to get through 20. It was like pretty muddy.
It's tough. And I feel like we said this off of the air here that like I feel like some of us have kind of similar tastes.
Mhm.
So I'm interested to see maybe like one person I think has very different tastes than Heidi. So we'll see where these go. And maybe she'll snag some of ours just to snag them and be like that.
It could be beneficial. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, watch out, Heidi.
I was going to say maybe my first round pick will just have to be a villain pick. It'll just
no.
have to be a pick off of somebody else's list
The villain
instead.
arc.
That would be so sad.
Strengthen mine.
All right. Before we get kicked off with Haley's number 1 pick,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to as quickly as I can, read through all of the Pixar movies just to bring them all to the top of mind.
Yeah.
So none get forgotten. There are some more obscure ones than the big hitters.
And by release date, right?
Yes. So in chronological order, Toy Story, A Bug's Life, Toy Story 2, Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, Cars, Ratatouille, WALL-E, Up, Toy Story 3, Cars 2, Brave, Monsters University, Inside Out, The Good Dinosaur, Finding Dory, Cars 3, Coco, Incredibles 2, Toy Story 4, Onward, Soul, Luca, Turning Red, Lightyear, and Elemental. So 27 movies spanning from 1995 to 2023. We'll be only picking 20 of them, and then maybe afterwards we can kind of talk about the 7 that get left out.
Make it.
I don't know, maybe talk some trash or something. But yeah, Haley, do you want to get us kicked off?
All right. Yeah,
1-1?
I will. I'm excited about number 1, but I also know this group of people so well that I feel like I have to pick my number 1 first, but I'm also worried that it's kind of a waste of a first round pick because I don't know that anybody else would have picked it in the first 2 rounds. Okay. So it's putting a lot of pressure on here, but I'm going to ride with it. I'm going to start with The Incredibles because I can watch it just endlessly. It's the only like Pixar movie that I feel like I can, like every single time it's on, I'll stop and watch it. So that was it was my number 1 on my list of number 1.
I think it's a good pick. I had number 2.
I was gonna take that right now if that
Good.
was
I'm
not
glad
the
I took it
case.
then.
And I literally was so happy. I was like, oh,
No one will take
maybe
it.
she'll take something else here, one of her favorites. And then when you said it, I was like, my whole face sank. I was like, no,
Oh, man.
wow, good
Cutthroat
pick.
Kitchen up in here.
I love it. That is honestly, I think for me, just like my absolute favorite. Same thing, Haley. I could throw it on and I could just watch like so many scenes of it. I think it's so good. So this kind of puts like a wrinkle for me because I feel like there's one that I would pick next, but I don't think I'm going to take it now because I feel like that it might not get taken by other people. And if it does, then my whole draft I feel like is just ruined.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take Monsters Inc. here. I feel like for me, like obviously I do love Toy Story and there's a few in there that I do love from that franchise. But I think that Monsters Inc. is one of those kind of like original hitting ones that are very high up on people's lists usually. And I feel like maybe this would have got taken for sure by the time that my next pick comes. I love the whole dynamic in this movie. I think it's so funny. I love the characters. I love the world. And this was one as a kid that I could put on all the time and just watch. So yeah, I got to take this one off the board here.
I think it was a great choice.
I was going to pick that one as my first, even though it's not my first.
Wow.
I was going to pick that because I thought that all of you would have that on your list. And it's still one that like I really enjoy.
That's how I felt.
So now I feel in distress.
This is going to
do.
be crazy. I feel like this is going to be so wild.
Oh my goodness.
Because the good ones are just so good, and then
They
the
are.
bad ones are.
Well,
like,
and those are, I feel like those are two where I don't know growing up, maybe if I realized how popular they are, but certainly as we've gotten more involved with this, there are people who ride for The Incredibles and who ride for Monsters.
Yes.
And it's just, I didn't realize there's such followings until, pretty recently.
No, but I was also going to say that I feel like for me, Pixar is very like nostalgic, even sometimes more than like a Disney animation for me. Like I just love all these movies. So it's tough.
I'm trying to think of like what other people are going to pick after me because Tommy gets 2 picks after me. And I don't think that he would pick this one, but I just want to have this one. So I'm going to just be true to myself. And I feel like he might, I don't know. I'm just going to go with WALL-E. So I'm picking WALL-E because I think this movie is incredible. It always like makes me so emotional and just like, I don't know, just makes me think about a lot of stuff. It stresses me out, but is also very, very nice. So I'm going to pick that one. That was one that was like on my list that I really wanted. So I'm just going to pick that one to start off with because I want to make sure I have that one.
Nice.
Yeah. WALL-E's good. I had it up there. I probably wouldn't have gone that way, but I think it totally makes sense at number 3. I feel like WALL-E was kind of the tail end of that really strong stretch that they had. It like kind of ended around that point, and then there's a little bit of a dip, but WALL-E's still really good.
I was going to say that to Brandon's point of like being more nostalgic. I think that from 1995 through 2008, I think when we were or 2004, we were looking were some like really strong, especially that 2001 to 2008.
Yes.
And that was like when we were like really in the like movie watching time of our childhood.
And to go back, Brandon, with your point about being nostalgic, I think it is so nostalgic because we were growing up and in that prime age while they were kind of going through their golden years. So like for the older generation, it was that Disney Renaissance, and for us, it's kind of the Pixar.
I agree.
The heights of their sort of what they were doing.
Amazing.
Tommy, back to back.
So, yeah, I've got
so
back to back.
nervous.
I'm pretty pleased. I'm not gonna lie. I like the way this shook out. Obviously, everyone's gonna have different rankings, which is making it super interesting. This is something I probably would have taken 1-1, so I'm pretty pleased to get it at 4. I'm going with the one that started it all. I'm gonna go with Toy Story. I know that the sequels people really like, and I know a lot of people prefer the sequels to the original. For like the first feature-length computer animated film, I think it holds up incredibly well. We revisit it, every other year or so, and it always kind of surprises me because I kind of think it's going to be something that I liked as like a mushy-brained 6-year-old or whatever, but I still think it's awesome. I think it's so good. It's super well paced, and like all the characters are awesome. They traumatize Sid at the end. I think it holds up, and I'm pleased to get it at 4 for sure.
And I think when you have like those 2 super strong, actually like famous voice actors, like characters, I think it helps it a lot that you had like, it wasn't just like Joe Schmo that nobody knows about except for the voice of these.
Yeah.
It was just 2 really, really strong.
Yeah. Strong voice actors, iconic characters.
And it's a huge franchise. Like this is like massive for Disney. Like they use it in parks, like merch, like this is a very massive thing for them. So that's a great pick.
Another movie coming out.
Yeah, I was gonna say. They rolled out the 4th one. People were like, "Oh, who needs it?" And it made $1 billion. People like Toy Story.
Oh yeah.
All right. So for my wraparound pick, like I said, pretty pleased with how this shaked out. Get a little bit of old school. I'm gonna go more newer school. with my second pick, and I'm going to go Coco. This
No.
one sticks out for me a lot. It's like a musical, which
Oh.
Pixar doesn't dabble in a ton. It like is looking at a very specific sort of culture and holiday and sort of the beliefs and stuff that like kind of delve into that. And it's also just spectacular. The first time they sort of entered the afterlife, or sort of whatever they refer to it as, it's just like breathtaking. Yeah, love Coco. It'll get a tear out of you every time. Just classic Pixar fare. And like I said, a little bit more recent, which was really nice to see. And I think 2017 or whenever it came out, we were in a little bit of a not a slump, but a colder streak. And Coco really came out strong and definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, that one bit me in the back because I had that one as like my second one that I wanted to choose, but then I thought that I was like, Haley will definitely choose it. I was like, I don't know if Tommy would choose it before, so I thought I had time to wrap around, but
this is one that you've like recently like
loved.
on our flight, you watched it.
I just watched it on our flight and I was like, oh my goodness, why have I not watched this earlier? I was literally sitting there watching. It was so funny. I watched it with like headphones on, obviously, but I had like the words on, and the lady beside me like watched the whole movie. Essentially, I was like, "That's a great movie. I loved it." And I was like, "This is so good."
And she couldn't even hear any of the music, which is like a huge selling point.
Massive. It's a movie about music in a lot of ways.
Exactly. So I thought that was so funny, and yeah, the music's so good. It's awesome. So I think you got two like great,
really good.
Yeah, you
like
did.
I said, I'm stoked, but
I think you got
still a lot of heavy hitters.
Everyone was being pretty nice to you, not taking Toy Story the first round too.
Well, that's what you got to do. You got to make your identity a very famous movie that you could just sort of hoard all over people.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, on the wraparound, Heidi,
you're up, Heidi.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess now I'm kind of just going here. I'm going to go with the flow, and I'm going to pick this movie next. I don't know if people would pick this movie necessarily. Maybe Brandon would. I'm not sure, but I'm going to go with Toy Story 3.
Oh my gosh, that was my next one.
And the reason I'm picking that is because out of all the Toy Stories, I'm not 100% sure. I feel like it's my favorite. I also really like the first one because it's just like the classic. But I love Lotso, so we're going to show Lotso some love and make sure he's on my list here. So I'm happy that I at least got that one.
It's definitely my second favorite Toy Story.
And I think it's a lot of people's favorites. I think like if you poll 100 people, I think the majority of that would come back Toy Story 3. People love Toy Story 3, and I think it's very good as well.
It's a great snag, Heidi.
Yeah, great pick.
Wow. I'm like kind of distraught right now because I'm looking at this list and there's ones that I like that I don't think people will take. And then there are some that I do like that I think people also will take. But now I'm like nervous about Tommy and like some more Toy Story coming around later on. But I'm going to take right now, which this might be kind of cutthroat. I'm going to take Up next. Which I'm so sorry about.
That doesn't hurt me. It's okay.
I'm sorry, because this is one that I also love, and I would say that it's very high up for me based on ones that are left. I really do enjoy it, and there's also like an older one that maybe will come around to me that I also do like, but I just think this one is so great. Like obviously in that first few minutes, you're like sobbing your eyes out, and then it just kind of has like this like a buddy dynamic, but like a very like interesting dynamic with like an older man like and a young kid. Like I think that's just like super fun, and it's so sweet by the end, and just like the other characters that come in. I really do think this is a good movie, and I do think like it shows like a lot of different things, like that kind of like older person and like a mentor figure, like, but also just like love in general. I think that it's a really good movie, and I know like a lot of us here do like this one.
No, I think that was a good pick. It was not my next, which I'm thankful for. But I love the characters and oh, I turned the wrong thing up. There we go. No, I love the characters more. Like I love Carl more than I love the movie. Like I love Carl and Ellie more than I love the movie as a whole.
That makes sense.
Outside of the villain, I think the character like roster is as strong as any of the sort of Pixar movies, even going from Carl and Russell to like the dogs
and Kevin.
Yeah, like Doug is funny, but even the villain dogs are funny. Kevin's great, and it's just kind of like a wacky adventure. Another one that really stands by itself. So good pick for sure.
That was a good pick. These have all been in. This is definitely the most nervous I've been in like a bracket or a draft or a rating or anything.
The first 3 rounds are going to be a battle for sure, and then the last 2 are going to be interesting, kind of to see where that middle pack shakes out a little bit.
Yeah. And I'm kind of just like Heidi was saying, like kind of just like staying true to myself instead of really worrying about what other people are going to pick or like if other people would think my draft would be the strongest. It's just like the strongest
Gotta
for
go
me.
With your heart.
Yeah.
I get 2. I'm back to back.
Yeah. Yep.
You got back
to back.
All right. So my first one is easy. And I don't know if it was even on anybody's radar, but I know it has to be in top 20 because it's not a 21 through 27 is Cars.
Yeah.
It was my second overall. I love Mater so much. I think that Larry the Cable Guy did such a great job at making Mater like who he is. And it's just like a good, like the character arcs are so good because they come in and you like, first you like Lightning because he's like the hero, and then you don't like him because he's ruining this small town, and then you love him because of Mater, and like it just goes so back and forth. But that was my number 2 overall, so I'm happy to get that.
That's a good one.
awesome.
I think that we need a Cars like
A Cars
rewatch.
watch.
We've talked about this multiple times that before our Disneyland trip, I gotta watch
Yes.
the
me too.
Cars franchise, like specifically the first one,
Yeah.
because I think that one's the most like true to like Radiator Springs and Cars Land.
Mhm.
So gotta
Yeah.
watch it.
I like Cars, original Cars. I think the first Cars is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the other two. The second and third.
The
I know we
Secret
talked about this
Spy.
on the most recent live. Yeah, that we were on. I have not seen those, but original Cars is good. Yeah, it's a sweet. It's a
Well, and that's
sweet
what
movie.
like my list goes: Cars number 2, and then Cars 2 or Cars number 1, and then Cars 2 and 3 are like woo,
Yeah,
way
plummet.
down.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I'm a Cars stan. I love Cars. My next one, I don't have another pick for so long.
Yeah. I mean, when you get the ends, it's definitely you sit on.
So
You
that's
wait a
what's
lot.
hard because I know I'm trying to think of which one I'll be more upset if somebody takes.
Right.
My one, I don't know if it will get taken, but I have it ranked higher, so I'm just going to go with it. And it's Ratatouille.
Nice.
So I don't know if that was in
Good one.
anybody's next 2 rounds worth of picks, but I think that movie is one that I even underrate. Like when I think of like Pixar movies that I love, I don't know that I put Ratatouille in it. And I don't love the ride, which I think hurts it. That like my most like often interaction with Ratatouille is the ride in Epcot.
Yeah.
And it's just like not great for me. Like I just could live without it. But I think I love the movie so much, and I love like Luigi's character or Linguini's character so much that I had to go with it.
That's a good pick. I like that one. I think that's also like another one that I feel like I should watch again because like the music and it's really nice. Like I love like the ambiance music. Like I think there's some good characters. That's a good pick.
Yeah, Ratatouille is another one where I always like kind of liked it fine. You know, I saw it sort of around when it came out.
Yeah.
And as I got older, I realized that there are, the Ratatouille stands out there who love Ratatouille. Like there are people who are obsessed with Ratatouille. Like number 1 Pixar movie, like with a bullet, not even close. So Ratatouille is a popular one, that's for sure.
And I think it doesn't hold as much nostalgia because it's older, but I think watching it as like an adult, it's one of those movies that adults and children can enjoy.
For sure.
Yeah.
But they're 2 totally different movies when you watch it as an adult versus as a child.
Yeah. And I also think that it's helpful when they bring stuff in the parks, then it makes kids want to rewatch these maybe older movies. I think that's a cool dynamic as well. So it's a good pick. Like I guess I'm up here next.
Yeah.
And I have a couple ways that I'm kind of in my head thinking to go. I have some sequels that I want to take potentially. And one of them, I don't know if it's going to be taken, but maybe it will. And I know one I think for sure will be taken. So then I'm kind of like, I would be sad if like the second one that I don't think people would take gets taken, if that makes any sense.
It makes sense.
It's all jumbled
around going on. Yeah.
Seriously.
And then there's another kind of like older one that I do love as well. So I'm kind of stuck where to go, but I feel like I need to have one of these on my list as a Pixar list, and I'm going to do Toy Story 2 here. I think for me, that's my second favorite of the Toy Story movies. I love Bullseye and Jessie a lot. I think that they're great. I love Stinky Pete. I think he's like a funny villain, and I think he just is like a crotchety old guy, which is funny. And I just think that I just like the whole dynamic. I know that as a kid, I love the one scene, which is so random. I would have like my mom and dad play it all the time, of them with like the traffic cones crossing the road.
Right.
Like I think, like it's so good, so funny. So that's just one for me that always kind of sticks out of like Toy Story 2 and 3 are ones that I just like always want to come back to. And I'm sorry, Tommy, if that was on your list.
Yeah, it definitely was. I think Toy Story 2 is a little bit underrated. I think like 3 being so good kind of swept 2 under the rug. I think 2 doesn't get as much love as it deserves. It's really excellent. What were you about to say here?
I was just going to say that there's like a toy. I think it's in Japan that they sell, and it's the characters underneath the little cones, and it just like bobbles back and forth to look like they're like walking and then drop, which I think it's the most iconic scene. Like when I was jogging my memory about which things happen in which Toy Story, that is where I go with Toy Story 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fun fact about Toy Story 2, kind of randomly dropping this in here. It was like fully accidentally deleted by Pixar when it was in development. And the only reason they recovered it is because I believe there was a woman who was on maternity leave. So she had like a separate file and was like doing animation work at home and was able to like bring that in as a backup. So if it wasn't for like that happenstance, it would have been like totally erased and deleted and probably would be like a completely different movie.
Or what if they just scrapped it and then that's Toy Story 2, 3, 4, and now 5?
I mean, it could have tanked Pixar because it was their third movie at the time.
Is
like
insane.
So that's like a little fun fact. I might have gotten some of the details wrong around like the exact sort of scenario, but yeah, it was pretty much like basically all deleted. And if it wasn't for one woman working from home, it would have been gone.
Wow.
See what happens when you give women maternity leave?
Yes.
Great things.
Yeah, they save.
Let's normalize that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And I was also going to say, like, isn't this the one where like it starts off with like the Buzz and Zurg and it's like Rex playing the game? Is that this one? I
one
love
of the
that
best Toy Story sequences. Yeah, that they put it's obviously not real. It's like in the video game, but it is so cool. It's awesome.
So good. Yeah. So I had to have one, and I feel like of the two left, I feel like this was the one that I wanted the most.
Yeah, stronger of the two for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, back to my turn, and again, I feel like I have to go with strategy here, which might hurt me in the end, but whatever. I'm just gonna go with my gut, and I'm picking a movie that actually I think that you're going to be surprised about because I don't actually talk about this movie, but when I think back on like what movies I liked growing up, I want to pick like one of the like original Pixar movies, which a lot of them have been taken already.
Yep.
So I'm picking Finding Nemo.
Good one. That was my original one on my list.
That's what I was going to take next if you didn't.
So. Okay. So I think this is a great movie. Like so much just like happens in it and so many different characters and such a good like story and so many like funny moments too. So I had to pick it. And I remember like growing up, I watched it a lot. So I'm happy to have this one on my list.
That's a good pick.
It's also so beautiful. Like just everything about it being underwater. I think it looks really good. Nice.
That was a great pick. And I think like the ride doesn't get a ton of love at Disney World, but I think it is so good. Like it is
from me. I love that ride.
Yeah, we always go on. But like I think that it captures some of like what you see in the movie really well in the ride.
Yeah,
other than the jellyfish room. The jellyfish room is bad.
Yeah. I mean, I could have seen Finding Nemo go in the first round. I could have seen it go in the first two picks. I think Finding Nemo is one of those ones where just depending on personal preference could be anywhere on that list. I mean, if someone picked it one overall, I don't think I would have been too surprised.
I think it's so quotable. Yeah, like you always hear people like, just keep swimming, keep swimming.
Yeah.
So true.
Touch the butt. Yeah, it's got some classics.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Shark bait, ooh ha ha.
Yeah.
It's really good. Like honestly, that's kind of when I think like in that kind of era, that's like a defining movie, like in that era also. Like a lot of people just know that one. It's a great pick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and still super early on, so I feel like it's like one of those ones that really cemented that they can do something differently than Toy Story.
Yeah,
for sure.
True.
All right. Speaking of Finding Nemo, I feel like we're approaching a little bit of a Pixar drop off here. So I'm a little bit nervous with my wraparound. But for my third pick, I kind of have this one down lock. I'm going to go Inside Out. I think Inside Out is another one that has like a really great cast of characters. So like from the emotions to Bing Bong, and even some of like the tertiary stuff that you encounter like on the journey, I think is really funny. Obviously, super kind of emotional and affecting in that way. But it is also, we were sort of talking about this earlier, it's like so like brisk almost. It's there's no points where it really like kind of waits and you're never really bored because it is just kind of a quick movie and they're kind of bopping around from place to place to place and then it resolves itself. So yeah, I like Inside Out a lot. I cried watching it on a plane, so I just have an emotional connection to it. And I'm getting excited for the sequel coming out this year, I think.
Yeah. I'm so stoked, like because like a new trailer just came out like this past week for it.
Oh, I don't think I watched that yet.
Gotta go see because it shows you more like in detail kind of what the movie's gonna be more about.
Oh, cool.
And I think it's a really good choice for what they chose. And I'm excited to see what our listeners think and what you think, Haley, because I know that you love this one as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
I do.
like I think that it's a good kind of pathway for how they're gonna tell the story, which I'm excited about.
This was the one that I was going back and forth with if I should take it. And I knew you were going to take it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I made the right choice.
I was just waiting for it to fall to me.
Mm-hmm. But it is so good. But this is another one where like I like sadness more than I like the movie.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Which I think that's fair too. I think if you just like, some of the characters, All right. Yeah, this one was tough for me. And I'm going to end up kind of playing it a little bit safer. I'm going to go with Toy Story 4. Nice. I didn't want to go double Toy Story. I was hoping that Finding Nemo would slip to me. But like I was kind of alluding to, I do think that after this one, there is a little, like in my opinion, at least a little bit of a drop off where I don't think they are quite at the same level. I think Toy Story 4 is kind of straddling that line. I know it's a pretty divisive movie. Not everyone likes it. People think it's unnecessary. People don't like how it ended.
I hate it.
Some of the character choices. And I get all that, but I think kind of moment to moment, it's still like a really fun time. And for the fourth movie in a franchise to introduce characters like Ducky and Bunny and Duke Kaboom and even what is her name? Gabby. Like those Forky. Are also like pretty, Forky, like some funny characters that add like a lot, you know. And like I said, with the fourth movie and it's like a fourth installment, where you already have like a really strong cast of characters to kind of bring in a bunch of new ones and also kind of reintroduce Bo Peep and give her more to do. I think it was successful in a lot of ways, although I definitely get some of the gripes with it and why people don't necessarily love it, especially as much as the others. But
well, now that there's a 5 coming, I think the ending is less.
I agree.
Yeah, maybe
if it was just going to end like that, I think that people would have been very upset, which I think that people still were. I think what's like awesome like about these movies is I love seeing like a ton of characters on the screen. Like, and I think that Toy Story, like in terms of all of the Pixar movies, like they have so many good toys, like Slinky and Ham and like Rex, Potato Heads. Like there are so many good characters like to add on to those like top tier Woody and Buzz. So I just think that this is a really good pick, Tommy, because like you said, they did add like even more awesome characters to this already great roster of like toys. I think is awesome.
And it's so special that like they continued this story. Like I'm someone who like they can continue. Like I, on one hand, I'm like, oh, they're making more, but I'm like, it's so cool to like grow up with it. And then like people like watched as kids now, like they're having kids and can show their kids like what they watched and then still have new content to like see. I think that's like really special. So yeah, I think it was a good pick for sure.
And like Brandon was saying, like the amount of characters, and I think because they're toys, they can have them doing things in the background where like you get to see a lot of Rex's personality, not by what he's saying, but like when he's in the background, like almost like physically, it's like physical violence or not violence, humor. Physical humor instead. Rex, he is. Yeah, he's trying to be scary.
Strong with that tail.
Physical violence is so funny.
But it's more physical humor where like you're watching these characters do things in the background, and I think that that's why it's so good for kids, because there's not really a lull in like the action.
There's definitely always stuff going on, and like they all kind of have their own personalities, which is impressive.
But none of them are violent.
But none of them are.
I also wanted to add this in, like I don't know, like maybe Tommy feels the same. I like envision one day when we have kids that they're playing with all of the toys. I think that would be so cool. Like if you go to the parks and you buy those ones that can talk and you like have them all together, that is just so cool to me that it's like this movie that like you loved as a kid, and seeing your kids love it, I think would just be so fun. That's
and it's like it's a direct translation as well. Like it's a movie about toys, and
literally
because that was always the coolest part to me is like having a Buzz Lightyear. It's like it's having Buzz Lightyear. It's not like a toy version of the character that you like. Buzz. It's actually the character that you like, and you own it. It's in your house.
Well, and even now, like people on social media, every 2-year-old's birthday is to infinity and beyond. And so it's just been that since 1995.
Toy Story forever, baby.
And as a kid, I believe that they came to life. I was like, this is actually what happens to my toys when I go
to peeking around the corner.
Seriously.
All right.
Back to Heidi.
Yes. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling excited here to wrap up because I have some of the underdogs that I enjoy personally. And so I had to kind of change my approach because I didn't want to end up with stinkers at the end in my eyes. So I am taking Luca first. I love Luca. This is one of my favorite Pixar movies. It's like a newer movie, and I think the characters are just so sweet. Like I love like the dynamic, the story. I think it's beautiful. Nothing bad to say about it. Just love it. Like I'm there with you. Like I think that this was an era, like, and I love this about these Pixar movies to me, like and the one that you'll take later, or maybe I'll just take it here for fun. I'm just kidding. That would be so
but I think that these are ones that I have loved, which is like kind of interesting, like to see you watch them like and get so excited about them. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Like that it's like a franchise or like a movie that you really, really love, like makes me love it more so. Like I kind of feel that way, like when we saw Frozen 2 and you just loved it so much. And I liked Frozen, but didn't like love it. And then I just was like, I love like all these characters now. I love this movie. So I feel like this is when like in Luca where you love it and I just love it because you love it, if that makes sense. It's so good.
So sweet.
So sweet.
So with that, it's up to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna take Onward. Just kidding. I'm not taking
God.
Onward.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
I thought that was just like the mic drop. Like he just buttered you up to tear you down.
I couldn't do that, and maybe someone else will do it. But there's one that I've waited to take
exposing me
because they know that you like Onward. People know.
That's true.
You
know that.
Yeah, I'm gonna take The Incredibles 2. I think this is kind of underrated, and I know this was like one of those where there was like a drought until this came out from like any new Incredible stuff. It was like how long? Like 15 years almost.
It was, I think it was 14 years. I think it was 2004 to 2018. I might be wrong. But I think that was the span. Like,
and this was one, like I was like that Thursday night, my butt was in the seat at the theater. I was so excited to watch this movie. Like, and I honestly do think that in ways, like there are ways where it is kind of like it holds up to that original one. I could be in the minority on that. I think that like there's a lot of good action sequences. I love the character development. I love like the visuals. And I think people say this, and I agree that like Brad Bird, who like he's like the director, right? Like, I think that he knows how to do superhero stuff so well. Like, Elastigirl is so well done. Like, I love the kids. I love the whole dynamic. And I just think this is like a really good, like in terms of like a superhero franchise, I think that Incredibles is very high up there just in terms of any like movies that are related to superheroes. So I definitely had to have this one. This is kind of my more recent like Pixar love movie is Incredibles 2. I love it so much. So have to take it here.
Yeah, I think it's a good one. And I think you're right. I think that he did a good job matching like the superhero to the character.
Yeah.
So like Violet obviously fits her superhero self. And so I think that like all of them go really well together, which makes it like more believable, even though obviously it's an animated superhero movie.
No, for sure.
But like you can like picture the world that they're in a little bit more.
Yeah, The Incredibles 2 is probably not one that I feel like I've thought about much since I saw it, but I remember being in the theaters like moment to moment, being like totally into it. And kind of like you mentioned, Brad Bird having like a really good knack for sort of superhero action and superhero-ness to it. Like that sequence with Elastigirl, I think she actually is back in this movie, on the motorcycle, and she's like
so
splitting
good.
in two and like turning into a parachute and stuff like that is just like really cool and really unique and not something that you would get in any sort of superhero movie, and much less, an animated kind of kids movie. So
yeah, I also want to mention one last thing about this because I thought of it now. Like, I love the music in this movie. I think that the score is so good, and it's the same for you, Haley, with your like the like original one. Like the score is so good, it adds to the story so much, and I just also think like that them being so like you said like an actual family who like this would be real. Like they're doing like math homework and going through those kind of struggles. I think is so fun. So
I like the 1960s vibe in both of them.
Yeah,
I forgot to mention that off the top.
houses are
like the sort of aesthetic design
so
of all of that stuff is super good.
And Edna Mode rocks.
Edna Mode.
She really does.
She's so good.
Well done, Tommy. That was good.
Thank you.
That is one of his hidden talents.
Here we go.
All right, my turn.
Around. Yep, your last two picks. So pick wisely.
Oh, wow.
I feel like we're kind of getting to the bottom of the barrel here, but I have one more that's also a newer one that I really enjoyed. I think it was polarizing. I think a lot of people did not like it, but it's Turning Red.
Nice.
I really enjoyed Turning Red. I think that like Four Town is so good.
Yeah.
Like if I could go to a Four Town concert, I would go. And I think that like, I don't know. I think when I haven't watched it since we watched it the first time, I don't think, but the whole time I was entertained. Like I walked out and was very pleased.
Yeah, I think, I like the characters a lot. I like its kind of wacky energy. I think a lot of people find the characters kind of annoying, but they're like middle-aged girls. Like they are just kind of like,
Abby's supposed to be annoying.
They are kind of spastic and like sort of like
chaotic.
Chaotic.
They are very chaotic.
A minute. Like they're supposed to be, kind of in your face in a way that is very reflective of people of that age. And I think it captures that kind of that weirdness that everyone was just kind of like a little freak when they were.
Well, they were,
like
but I
12 years
think
old,
that
like we all
that's
were.
the problem is that 12-year-olds aren't weirdos anymore.
Maybe that is.
Yeah.
it.
That
They're
was
figuring
us.
out how to be adults on the internet, but we were
Yeah.
all super
Yeah,
weird.
we were all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We were like obsessed with things, and we were so
Yep.
like cringy, as the new people
Exactly.
will
Yeah,
say now.
I was wearing like bright blue eyeshadow and like brown gaucho pants with Pumas. Like it was like not a great time, but I had the time of my life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I had fun every day when I was like
I agree.
in middle school.
Yeah,
Good
for
pick.
sure.
No,
All right, one more for me.
Yep, your last pick.
Okay, this one I don't think anybody else would pick, but I'm going to.
I already know what it is.
It's Monsters
Yep, I knew
University.
That was gonna be
I
my
knew
pick.
Yay! Tommy tells me I'm the only person that likes Monsters
I just
University.
like forget it exists sometimes. I don't know.
So do I. Looking at
Yeah.
the list, I was like, I should take that next.
But I think it's another one where like I liked Monsters Inc. so much that you just get more Monsters Inc. with
Yeah.
Monsters University.
Uzma Kappa is funny. Like
It's so
that's
funny, and they're like
funny.
little. He
Yeah,
like
that's
gets
funny.
together like the little nerds, kind of like.
Little squishy guys.
I love the
funny.
squishy guy when he's like doing the dance.
Yeah.
He's like, pulling. There are good funny moments in that for sure.
Yeah, and then I love how that guy's with like his mom at the end or whatever. The guy who was in it with him.
The older
It's
guy.
so funny to me. I think there are good moments in that.
Too
See,
good.
other people do
pick.
like
Yeah,
it.
no, I think I'm in the minority in not caring about Monsters University. I think.
Yeah, this is a good comment one. If you care at all about Monsters University,
Yeah.
you have to subscribe and
You
then
have-
let us know.
Yeah, you have to show
Yeah.
love because I'm definitely a doubter. I'm a
Mhm.
Monsters U doubter.
It's me next, and I'm laughing because I might have to take Onward.
No.
I'm looking at this list, and
What
I'm
am I
like,
gonna take?
some of these are pretty stinky.
Yeah,
I, I don't really know.
Don't.
Like there's literally maybe one that's like a stretch to me. I think that in terms of the older ones, I'm not going that last old one. For me, it's just not one that I love. And then we're into some sequels and some other stuff, and I just think this would totally like she's giving
I'm
me
so sad.
for the viewers on here. But I also think
Why would you mention it earlier then and say never
He
mind?
didn't know I was
Yeah,
going to
so I
take
didn't- yeah.
Monsters University.
I
Not
didn't know, and then
That's
I'm looking at this, and
hurtful.
it's like I don't love the other sequels, and like
Well, do
like
whatever you
Lightyear
want.
was kind of a miss for me.
That's okay. Do whatever. I'll just cry about it.
Wow,
Go
this
ahead.
is. I just feel so sad about
I'll
it.
talk
if I would
about it
take it.
still, but you could go ahead and say why it's your favorite.
It's not my favorite. It's my fifth pick. You really like this. I've watched it one time, so I am. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna take
Oh my
Onward.
goodness. What am I
Wow.
supposed to take?
And
That's so rude.
it
This
is
is my
mean.
favorite movie. Pixar
Well, hey,
movie.
then you should have taken
Should
it
have
earlier,
taken it
buddy.
first, Hyde.
Oh god.
And I'm
That's
so
crazy.
sorry about it though, Heidi,
Okay, I have to
because
quickly take one
because
now.
I genuinely look at this and I'm just like, there's other ones that I've watched one time and I have no memory of anything about it, and I don't want it on my list like at
No,
all.
I was
At
down.
least-
I was down to 3 as well, and Onward was one of them. So
like at least this
I'm
one I know the
shocked.
characters. I like that kind of like the mythical thing. I love the ending so much, and I know this ending so well. I love it. And I think that it does help that you love it so much that I love it.
I was
Just
gonna say,
like
Heidi,
Heidi's
yeah.
going to emotionally blackmail you.
explain to
Yeah.
everyone why Brandon's pick is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
I'll talk about it
Okay.
since this is my favorite Pixar movie.
But I like it too.
I know you like it, but you only like it because I like it. So that's just picking for what
I think it's good. I really do.
No, I think this is a movie that I think was
It got
underrated.
lost
It got
in the
lost
shuffle.
because it was like during COVID, right? That
Yep.
it came
Yeah.
out.
Like, just
Honestly,
before.
can't remember.
Right before, yep.
Yeah, so and they didn't even release it in theaters.
They did.
No,
It
we
was-
saw it in theaters.
Yeah, we
did?
did. see
It was a
Okay.
short window, and
Yeah,
then the
for maybe
pandemic
a
hit.
week, maybe 2. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
very,
Okay,
very
that's what
short.
happened. It's just been a blur. So, but I feel like this is one of those movies that people won't like it maybe if they like can't relate to the story. And I think that
Well, you really
the
relate
reason
to the
that
story.
I like it is because the story, if you don't know, is about like brothers, and the dad like passed away and then kind of comes back to life in the end. I won't ruin the ending, but it's like that whole story. And so like I relate to that scenario because I lost my dad when I was growing up.
I
So
feel
That's why I
so-
cannot believe Brandon took it.
Crazy.
I
Oh
can't
my
believe it.
gosh. Should I like all of the like people listening are like, this guy's the worst guy of all time?
Yeah.
Should I
But
like
it's
just
okay.
send my
You're
Be
pick?
No.
DMing Heidi
Yeah,
like,
they
don't
just listen
marry
to-
him.
Should
Should
I
I-
feel like this is a red flag.
Should I rescind my
No,
pick? Like
no,
this
it's
is
fine.
crazy.
It's a game. It's okay. So I just think it's one of those that it really resonates for me, and so I will pick it, and it will be my favorite movie. But I won't pick it in this draft. But I'm now having to like pick on the spot because all my movies have been taken that I wrote down.
Can I just kind of talk through this so people don't know why that I'm this horrible person? Because I'm not a horrible person. I just think that I like this movie as well.
I don't think we'd be laughing if we really thought you were.
I know.
Nobody thinks you're horrible.
Well, like. Yeah, hopefully people out there don't know me personally. I'm great.
And he does like this movie.
There's just like in terms of like the newer ones, like I don't connect with like an Elemental on the same way. Like I liked it, but I don't like love it. Like Soul, I have no idea what happens because we watched it one time.
We're still.
But I'm just saying that I think that for me, this is why that I picked this one in terms of a newer movie.
Yes.
Like was because I actually do enjoy it. And I know what happens, and I'm so sorry, Heidi, that I took it. I feel awful about this.
It's okay.
This draft, I'm in shambles.
I'm in shambles as well. So I'm just gonna go with my gut of what I think. I'm gonna have a double movie kind of genre, which is shocking to me, and I don't really particularly love this movie, but I think of what's left. It's one of those that I'm just gonna go with, and I'm gonna say Finding Dory.
I was surprised this one was still up there.
I was surprised too. I thought that other people would take it because it is like only the second movie in the franchise. And it was one of those that, again, like it was good. Like, I think I just didn't like it as much as the first one because the storyline is obviously very different, but it was still good. So I'm still happy with this pick, but I'm just shocked about the ending.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, maybe I have to give Finding Dory a rewatch. I think I've only seen it the one time, and I remember liking it fine, but I don't remember like being grabbed by it. It seems like you really like Finding Dory.
I do like Finding Dory. I think some of the characters that they introduce in this is really, they're fun, and I think Dory is a super big part of Finding Nemo. I think she carries kind of Marlin's part, and so I think like she does well. This fictional fish does well in a character by herself. Gerald is the seal that sits on the rock
with the eyebrows.
I like the octopus too, Hank. He's a good character.
That's what I
think he's cool. Like, and I also like that girl who's like a whale. I forget her name.
Whale.
Yeah. She's sweet. I like her.
That's what I mean. I like that. That's why I was surprised that it was. There were a couple. I mean, it's not over yet, but there's a couple that I was surprised that are still there.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, final pick. It's me. This one I think is kind of not necessarily scraping the bottom of the barrel, but there are some out there that I like would never pick. So it's really slimmed down. And I'm gonna actually go with the most recent Pixar release. I'm gonna go with Elemental. I think that it has like some issues. I think that in a lot of ways it's kind of just a rom-com.
Yeah, it's not a kid's movie.
Yeah, they just happen to be, like fire people and water people and earth people. All of the beats are just kind of rom-com beats, so it's not anything. I feel like we were talking about the golden age of Pixar is doing stuff that you've never seen before. I don't think this is that, but I think it's funny. I think it's like charming. Like I like how it looks a lot, the different sort of styles for each of the different elements I think is really good. Certainly not one that I would ever put on a top 10 list, but it's, we watched it and I thought it was pretty good. And I was happy that it, ended doing pretty well last year. So I'm going to go with Elemental, to close things out. Obviously
that would have been my pick as well at the end,
but there wasn't a whole lot left.
And a lot of people really like
people really do like that. Like in terms of recent, like for me, it was either that or Onward, because I feel like that's the one that I have the most recent.
So he went with Onward.
Because I think Onward's better for me. I'll stop talking about Onward.
It's okay.
Oh gosh, it's okay.
So
I'm not allowed to say it's okay. It has nothing to do with me.
No. Do we want to do like a little cell of like R5 and then talk about some of the ones that are left, or the other way around?
Yeah, sure. We can do either order. That's fine. I'll read the draft results and then we can talk about that a little bit, and then I'll read the ones left over.
And these ones are hard.
Recap the
I think
again
to sell as you should pick mine because it was those I think there was one on everyone's list that each other would love to have.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I really do think once you get through round 2.5, you're really hemming and hawing.
There is a pretty steep drop off. But Haley, you picked first, so we'll start with you. Your 5 Pixar movies are The Incredibles, Cars, Ratatouille, Turning Red, and Monsters University.
I'm happy with mine.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty good. I think
I got a taste of almost all the franchises. I'm missing a Toy Story. I would have loved a Toy Story 3.
Yeah.
But no, I'm happy with mine. I like mine. I got my number 1 pick, which I was super happy with. I got my number 2 pick, and I got Monsters University. So
Yeah, I think Cars is a little high in my personal opinion.
I think you
but
need to rewatch
The
it.
Cars heads, I'm sure, will show up in the comments.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I know people love Ratatouille, so snagging Ratatouille with your third round, I think, is going to show to win some folks
Yeah,
over.
I don't know that I needed to take it as early as I did with this group. I don't know where it was on all of your guys' lists. Like,
Cars?
no, Ratatouille. I think Cars is deservingly.
Ratatouille is higher than Cars.
No way. But
yeah, neither one were on my list, but like I would have rather had those than some of the ones that I ended up with.
That's fair.
So I think it was good picks.
Yeah, good job, Haley.
All right, Brandon, you were up next, and you grabbed Monsters Inc., Up, Toy Story 2, The Incredibles 2, and Onward.
that's strong.
I think that's really good.
I think I think I have a good mix of kind of like older, newer. I think obviously having some sequels of characters that people love.
Yeah.
And I think that Monsters Inc. is one of those that are probably in most people's top 5, I would say.
Yep.
So I think that, like, in terms of, like you said, Haley, like that first round, there's going to be one that you would love, like in those first couple rounds that you'd have on your list. Yeah, I'm yes, happy but sad that I had to take Onward, Heidi, off your list.
You had no choice. Yeah, you had.
No, I had no choice. I liked it a lot. I like my list.
I think I really like your list, honestly. I
me
feel like
too.
I like your list better than my list.
And yeah, funnily enough, I do think Onward is the strongest 5th pick. I like Onward. I think it's sneaky underrated.
Yeah.
So yeah, grabbing that, I think you got some good value there. And yeah, Toy Story 2, like I said, underrated in my opinion. I think it's up there. I think, if someone threw it in the top 5, I wouldn't argue with them.
Love it.
All right, Heidi, you were up third. You had Wall-E, Toy Story 3, Finding Nemo, Luca, and Finding Dory.
I think that's a strong list.
I think Finding Nemo slipping to the third round, like I was gonna scoop it up with mine, like and not even think twice. I think Finding Nemo is really good.
I think the only thing that's bringing me down is having Finding Dory, because truthfully, like every other one I'm really happy with, and I feel like people can be like, oh yeah, I can see why you'd pick those, and then the fact that I already had Finding Nemo is like why I didn't really want to do Finding Dory. But out of what was left, I just felt like for me that was the one that I would have liked the most. But I'm still happy with getting Luca, definitely like Toy Story 3 and Wall-E. Those were like on my list. So
I think it's a very you list. Besides that, I took like if you would have had Onward, I think
that would have been my.
I think it would have been a really good list, honestly. Like I think that would be so good.
Right.
I think it is very good.
I'll just become a Finding Dory fan now. I'll go watch it.
Well, and I think like I try to think about these like if I had like a rainy weekend, like would I throw these 5 movies on? I think I would throw all 5 of your movies on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually watch through them.
Yeah.
I don't love Luca, but I think it's so vibey that I think on a rainy Sunday, I think it would just
super good.
Provide like the perfect kind of
like if you're doing some laundry, it's a perfect thing. You know what I mean? It's like inoffensive. It looks good. It sounds good.
Definitely the most interesting looking Pixar movie that they've made in forever. So
very different. Yeah.
Luca's good
for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. And I went last and I had Toy Story, Coco, Inside Out, Toy Story 4, Elemental.
I think your list wins.
I like my list a lot. I definitely didn't want to go double Toy Story or like do, 2 from the same movie series. And it would have been nice if I could have gotten like Toy Story 2 instead of Toy Story 4 if I did have to double up. But yeah, that being said, I love my top 3. I think Coco is like one of those ones where a lot of people missed out on it, especially people our age, because it came out so recently. They didn't watch it, and then they watch it on a plane or with their like, I don't know, their kid nephew. Yeah, their kid nephew, and they're like, Coco, like, where did this come from? This is awesome.
Yeah.
So true.
So yeah, I like my list, and I'm probably higher on Elemental than some people, but
No, I think your list is good.
I had to get Toy Story number 1 either way.
And that's the thing is like,
fell to me.
I feel like there's enough really good Pixar movies that nobody's list is bad because there's like heavy hitters on everyone's list.
Yeah. I also think that like in terms of these movies that Coco is probably the most like out there one because it's very musical centric. So I think that's very different for Pixar. So I think it's a cool one to have on a list.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Very good one.
But no, to your point, I think Pixar has so many strong movies. Like everyone's third round pick is probably someone's favorite movie.
Yeah.
So
true.
For
all
sure.
4 were really, really strong. Let's get into the
Should
not
we
so
share
strong.
Everyone's last pick first? Like what was on your last?
Like what was your lead? Like what? Would
what would have been the bottom?
Yeah.
Like if you had to go to 27, what would you have put?
All of them?
Start that way. Yeah.
Okay.
I can go first. Mine would be Cars 2, a movie I have not seen, but from the masses, I understand that Cars 3 is better than Cars 2. Cars 3 I also haven't seen. So those were at the bottom for me because they're just like did not watch, and people hate Cars. Well, not hate. A lot of people don't like
Strongly
Cars
dislike.
2 a lot. Yeah, it's I think universally kind of considered the weakest of the Pixar movies.
Yeah, mine was Lightyear.
Lightyear's bad.
Yeah.
I went into that and I was like kind of excited. Like we bought pins in the park before it came out. I regret doing that. What a waste of $17.99. Because it just like, how do you miss that? Like, how do you get given Toy Story and that's what you do?
I was confused, honestly. Like, yeah, I left that movie being like, I don't really know like what's happening really, and like there were so many ways they could have went with it, and it was just not what I expected.
And like you kind of spoil what you put in Toy Story.
Yeah,
Like
well,
he can't be Zurg the whole time. Like it does just.
I don't want to go on a rant about Lightyear, but like the movie opens with them being like, "Oh, this is the movie that Andy fell in love with." 10-year-old Andy did not fall in love with this movie. It's like a movie about like work-life balance and like, you know, watching your friends grow old and pass away. Like it's not just they should. And what makes me mad, and this is another thing, like I said, I don't want to get into it, but there is an animated series, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, which is excellent. And for some reason, like some higher ups at Disney don't like it, and they've buried it, and it's unavailable. You can watch some of it on YouTube, but it's not on Disney Plus. It's not, you know, you can't buy a DVD of it, and it's just wacky space adventures. That's what kids would like.
It together and then put that on the screen.
If they had made something that looks like Lightyear, but was a wacky space adventure with a proper Zurg and the green aliens, and a bunch of fun stuff, it would have made, you know, $850 million, and you know we wouldn't be here trashing Lightyear for being like the weird sad astronaut movie.
Yeah. I think it was way too serious for what, like you said, like if this was Andy's movie, like this is not one that I would have loved as a kid. And I think that there was just like a lot of things where they like obviously not bringing back what's the name for the voice, Tim Allen.
Yeah,
which like I understand that maybe it's a bit different, but I think if you're going the angle of like this is the movie that then like the toy's based off of, why is it like a different voice? Like there's just like a lot of things that I think that maybe go into this where people had higher expectations and it kind of was like a slam dunk, and then it just wasn't. It was like a miss.
And even the color palette is like gray. Like when I think about that movie, it's like soft purple, and just like that's the whole thing.
Purpley. Yeah. I think in terms of like the newer ones, this is probably like for me, like by far the lowest one. And like Soul was one that we watched on Disney Plus with your mom and brother, and half
maybe
watched.
That like.
So I feel like that we should rewatch it because I feel like that we didn't actually get a good experience with that one. But I think I would have picked Cars 2 the bottom, because I think in terms of the movies, like other sequels, I think that they stay true to what the franchise is. And I think that Cars 2 was so different than anything else, where it's like this like Mater spy like movie.
Mater's the best character.
I know, but I feel like that it would have been more fun to see more like adventures in like the Radiator Springs world and that kind of thing, instead of them going to some foreign country and doing that stuff. I also think that one that I've never seen is The Good Dinosaur. And I know people also don't like that one, but I haven't seen that one as well.
Not very good.
The Good Dinosaur is another one that makes me like kind of irrationally irritated, because I feel like it is almost like a slam dunk as well. Like with Lightyear, where you just make a fun Buzz Lightyear adventure. Like it's dinosaurs. Like, I don't know, like kids like Pixar, kids like dinosaurs. And they could have done some similar stuff. They could have had like, there's like some cool stuff in there. Like, I don't know, like the T-Rex is like, he's like a cowboy kind of, and the dinosaurs do farming and a bunch of stuff.
And they like flip the perspective. So like the human is like the animal, and then the dinosaurs are the ones that do the farming and have the land.
I think that's part of the problem. Like the human character is like kind of like a dog. So it just doesn't interact. So it's just the one character the whole time.
Arlo.
Arlo. And Arlo's like fine.
There's
the
just
water
a
looks really
TikTok
nice in that movie, and otherwise I don't like it.
Yeah, there's a video from, I don't know, years ago, and it's a little girl crying, and she's just going, "The dinosaurs making me sad." And that's like the only thing I have from that movie.
That's the best thing to come out of The Good Dinosaur is that
that was second to last on my list.
Yeah, I had that one close to the bottom as well, but I've seen it, so I had it a little higher.
I haven't seen that one, so I was just going to go with Lightyear as well. We already talked about it, but there's a few movies that I feel like I need to go back and rewatch. Like definitely Cars. I don't even really remember A Bug's Life.
Well, because I was going to say,
like A Bug's Life.
I like it too, but I think it just gets lost in the shuffle, and I don't think that it holds up as well on a rewatch than other ones. I think that it looks more dated than even Toy Story, which is interesting.
But it is fun. Like Flick is a fun character. Like I think it's like I think it's a good like low vibe movie. Like
Yeah.
I think it's like not really like a lot of the newer movies are like boom, 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 boom. Like if you're watching with like a little kid, like it's really a sensory overload. Where like other than a few parts, like where like the conflict is happening, I don't think Bug's Life is like that. I like Bug's Life. I hate the ride. I like it.
Yeah, there are bits of Bug's Life, and I watched it a ton as a kid. There are bits of the Bug's Life that I like, but I think the middle is just kind of boring. I don't know. I think it doesn't need that boom, boom, boom necessarily, but there's kind of just like no thrust. They're like doing like parades for the caterpillar, and they're counting beans or whatever they're doing. I don't know. It's just like I lose interest, and then they build the bird, and I'm like, yeah, that's sick. I love when they build the bird.
See,
Yeah,
end is awesome.
That's
Spooky
cool.
is pretty good. Yeah, Hopper's spooky.
So scary. That's why like my students always ask to watch things and I only put things on that are rated G. Bug's Life is rated. I can't put it on because I know that they're going to be terrified when Hopper like shoves his face down in like the little hole.
Yeah.
I can't do it to him.
I also think that in terms of this also like I don't think in this crowd, but like a Brave, people like do like Brave.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
But in this crowd, I feel like this isn't a Brave crowd, so that's why maybe it wasn't drafted. But
yeah,
I was shocked that a princess movie wasn't put in someone's list.
I know.
Yeah, I like about Brave, but I feel kind of similar. Like the middle kind of loses me. Like I don't know, the mom turns into a bear, and then they're just like.
I like the music, like the soundtrack, more than I like the movie.
Really good.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then I guess, like we said, we like Cars 3 and Soul. Yeah, we maybe have to rewatch a Soul.
I think for Soul, I expected something different. I feel like in the trailer, I don't know what I expected, but I didn't realize that it would be like, I don't know, like there was. I just didn't realize the storyline was going to be
existential crisis-y.
Even that, but it was like very like still like silly, and like I didn't imagine. Like
yeah,
I don't know what I thought. I feel like I need to go back and rewatch it, but from what I got in the preview, I didn't think that it was going to be like the way that
and I think it's beautiful. I think it's like the best looking Pixar movie that we've maybe ever gotten.
Yeah.
Like I think that it like is the most like Joe looks like a person.
Yeah.
Not like an animated character.
Yeah.
And like the cat's fur, like I just think that like it is a shame that like I don't think it screams a storyline written for kids at all.
No.
It feels like an adult movie that should be like a live action movie.
Yeah.
Yes. Or even they could have just done it and not leaned into some of the silliness that you know Heidi was referring to. Like he becomes the cat and stuff like that.
But then what do you can't bring kids to that, and what adults are coming to see an animated movie about a man who has to figure out if he can do what he likes or go to work?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Like I think that the plot was a little bit no, but I think you are before like I don't know, you put like a famous actor as Joe, and I think you're watching it more as an adult than you're watching Soul, the animated movie.
I'll give Soul a rewatch though, because I know people really like Soul, but it's definitely one that didn't necessarily hit for me.
Yeah.
And
this one may get some controversy in the comments.
Yeah, people like Soul. But it might have been kind of Heidi, like what you're talking about. It was just a little. Not all over the place, but it was kind of had its foot on both sides. Like it was a little bit serious, but then they spend a lot of time in that like kind of afterlife-y.
I like that part.
Soul part, and he becomes the cat, and it's just like a little bit, I don't know, disjointed maybe.
Yeah. And then both the cars, like
I was gonna say like we haven't seen Cars 3. I haven't seen Cars 3.
I watched Cars 3 when it came out, like in theaters, which I don't know why that I would go to Cars 3 because I don't even know when Cars 3 came out, but I went to go see Cars 3. And I know that I liked because I think that it went back to the like original kind of more Cars of like he's a racer.
It's very like Piston Cup, I think. Yeah.
Yes, which I think that I like. Like, and I liked the like they kind of called back to his mentor and stuff, which is what's his name, Doc Hudson and stuff.
Yeah.
And they had Cruise in there and stuff. Like I think that there are some good elements. I think like in terms of if there's like a drop off, I think there's a bigger drop off to me from like a Cars 3 to 2 than maybe a Cars to Cars 3, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And I think that's generally sort of considered how it goes. Like Cars 1, people like. Cars 2, people really don't like. And then Cars 3 is like, oh yeah, pretty good.
And like, I don't know, like a 6-year-old's opinion. Maybe they would love, maybe they love Cars 2 and
I think
Cars 3.
Kids, I think like, young kids.
Because it almost feels like Cars was like a family movie. And then they leaned into 2 and 3 as like, bring your kid, show your kid.
Yeah.
Larry the Cable Guy's here.
Yeah.
Cars also though has lots of like little things, like little shorts and shows. Like I think it's a good brand that people like kids do just like Cars. So like animated Cars is a great market.
Cars truck. Yeah.
Yeah.
buses, vans.
Yeah.
They love all
Any
that.
transportation.
Got wheels.
Tractors.
Got wheels. They
Train.
love it.
Yeah.
They'll love it all.
All right. I think
All
we
right.
touched on all of them.
Yeah, that was really fun, and we got to touch on some of the less popular ones as well.
Yeah.
You know, just in case you're a huge fan of like Lightyear or something like that.
Sorry.
I apologize as
Yeah.
long as you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed, I don't apologize.
Also, for those of you who don't, this is a bit. It's a bit.
It is a bit. Yeah.
it's a bit, but
Maybe-
it's not a bit.
Yeah,
gonna
it's
say-
like a bit that's not a bit. That is a bit
Yeah.
that's not a bit.
But yeah, please subscribe and like.
But also
the
we love
video on the
all of
stream.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, so much. This
Equally.
is so fun. We love
Mhm.
this.
Cool. So I'll run through the list one more time and then we can say goodbye. Haley, you had The Incredibles, Cars, Ratatouille, Turning Red, and Monsters University. Brandon, you had Monsters Inc., Up, Toy Story 2, The Incredibles 2, and Onward. Heidi had Wall-E, Toy Story 3, Finding Nemo, Luca, and Finding Dory. And I had Toy Story, Coco, Inside Out, Toy Story 4, and Elemental. So
Love
for
it.
everyone sort of watching and listening at home, please comment, on YouTube, or I think you can, I don't know if you can leave comments on Spotify or leave a
I'm going to
review.
put a
Even
little poll in there. So you
Yeah.
can actually vote on a poll.
you can vote on, who
That's
had the
cool.
best. You can vote on your sort of top 5, your favorites. Definitely let us know. You can find us every Monday on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts at The Park Squad Pod. You can also find us on Instagram at The Park Squad Pod. Like I said, we'll be here every Monday. Speaking of which, 2 Mondays from now, join us for our inaugural movie club review. We will be
Yay.
watching Lilo and Stitch. So you've got 2 weeks to catch up on that. And, hopefully everyone watches it and enjoys and comes back in a couple weeks with,
Some opinions.
yeah, some opinions
love
on
it.
Lilo and Stitch. All right.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us this week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.